Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. And today I wanted to share some insights on the upcoming solar eclipse in Virgo. So I already sent my letter yesterday for those who read my newsletters on a regular basis. So I just wanted to kind of do a YouTube video and also inform. And going forward, I'm most certainly kind of going to be doing a lot of videos as well. So, and eclipses in general kind of signify a moment of endings and also beginnings, even though they may not happen right on the day of the eclipse. We can always expect something, that is knocking our doors. So basically, eclipses mark a very pivotal shifts or turning points in our lives, and they kind of close the doors, but also always open other doors. So unless we kind of release something, it's difficult for us to make space for something new to enter. And this eclipse season obviously is not an exception from that. So it's basically a moment to pause, reflect, and also kind of recalibrate or realign. So, and this eclipse happens early in Virgo, like 5 to 6 degrees of Virgo, and Virgo is basically the sign of our routine, like health or services that we do, or in many ways just daily routines of our daily lives. So, and this eclipse might basically kind of put those aspects of our lives that happen on a daily basis in a spotlight. And there won't be much clarity to start with, because eclipse is always about obscurity. So sun is hidden, the moon is also hidden. This is a solar eclipse, and it will be a very frustrating and intense period, naturally, like every other eclipse, and it takes time to emerge. I mean, clarity will take time to emerge, but at first there will be a lot of uncertainty, frustration, and also kind of sometimes being in self-doubt, thinking that whether where we are headed is right or not, or what we are doing is correct or not to our near and far future. So there is this ambiguity about the process, but also this ambiguity is also part of the process, right? So it's important that we remain grounded, and it's also important to chase perfection. To avoid chasing perfection. And basically kind of staying open to whatever unfolds. So think of it like surfing. I really like this analogy. I wrote this in my newsletter, and I really like this. So when a powerful wave comes, you don't really fight it, right? So you kind of ride it until the tide settles down, and this particular eclipse, or any other eclipse for that matter, is actually that kind of a wave. It may it may redirect our course of the path that we are taking, but it also kind of brings us in alignment with the greater purpose of what we are doing. And on a practical level, I mean, let's kind of apply this to our daily lives. So this is basically a perfect time to make small adjustments or changes or course corrections in our daily life. So for example, it can kind of go as normal as emails. Like if there is too much of emails, it's important to kind of reset the rules or set new rules, and kind of have some folders and allocate fixed time slots for emails if you think you're spending too much time handling them. Or if your schedule is scattered, maybe try and refine it, or kind of structure it in a different way that would help you. And if there is burnout, I think it is important to outsource some smaller tasks, or adjust your work schedule and delegate some work to other people, and make sure that you're actually doing what is very important at that particular point in time. And health is a major theme as well when we talk about Virgo. So if health has been neglected, and if you're kind of being, taking your health for granted, I think introducing the new habits and giving up old habits that have been detrimental to your health is very important. And it is also good to kind of have this eclipse trigger that shift in your life. And these are simple actions, but they can also be really powerful shifts. Like this eclipse reminds us that uh, transformation often begins with some small and steady steps. Like when new habits creep in, we kind of become more intentional about what we are doing and where we are headed, and that is really significant. And it might make some, not might, but it will make some really important changes to our life. And more importantly, it's not just about the eclipse, but eclipse is opposed by Saturn, right? Saturn's retrograde in Pisces, and Saturn is all about reality checks, realism, and the heaviness of whatever is happening around us, burdens or responsibilities. So, as this is the eclipse, there may be some old commitments that end, or maybe some old commitments that might creep in, and it might kind of slightly disturb or interrupt our flow. And there may be some new commitments or responsibilities that we need to take up, but still we feel that resources are limited, like in terms of what we do and how we kind of align with the time that we have in our day. We feel a lot of resources are a little limited, but I think it's all about discipline, right? So discipline will be tested. If we have proper discipline, proper routine, I think we may be in a position to understand that the resources that we have is probably enough for us to kind of sail through this period. And the reason why we won't see that resources explicitly is because of the obscurity that eclipse presents, right? So, and it's about persisting. Saturn is about persistence. So it is kind of worth keeping on doing what we are doing without losing that energy and or motivation. In fact, there is a very important story that kind of describes Saturn's symbolism, with Saturn being retrograde in Pisces in our astrological community itself. Astrologer Robert Wilkinson from Aquarius Papers has been a living library of astrological wisdom for over 20 years. I think 22 years is the time that he has been writing on his website. And his website is kind of coming to a close because the host of the website is shutting down. And he is in a forceful situation where he's kind of shifting from one platform to another platform. That is, from his current domain, he's shifting to Substack. Right? And after 22 years and after writing like more than 10,000 articles, one of the most prolific writers in the field of astrology, and that is his structure, right? A website that has been kind of serving as the astrological home for about 500,000 people per year is kind of dissolving, which is his old structure is dissolving. But there is a new one that is born with Saturn in Pisces. But the new birth is being triggered by this eclipse, and he's moving to Substack, which is the new platform. So this is exactly what Saturn in Pisces represents, right? So the dismantling of the old and gradual building of something new. And this eclipse basically is triggering the shift or the transition, and something has ended, but something is beginning, which is also very meaningful. And the eclipse is probably going to have similar themes in our lives, depending on the Time Lord systems and everything else that we need to analyze. So, for which I'm obviously available for personal sessions if you want me to take a look at your chart. But this energy of the moment or the period surrounding the eclipse may be very, very intense, right? So my friend Meghna Bhagat has very beautifully and eloquently spoken about embracing this intensity in her very first YouTube video, and I certainly encourage you to kind of go and follow her channel and follow her work. It's very beautiful. So she offers wonderful insights and helps us to kind of embrace and meet this energy and see it as a positive thing. Like, what if intensity is actually positive, and what if we are open to it rather than kind of resisting it? And this is the question that Meghna answers in her video. And I think Eclipse is going to present us with similar situations. There's a lot of intensity around us, and it is very easy for us to kind of have this self-doubt and think whether or not we are in the right path, but we're always on the path. Right? So if we have to course correct, I think eclipse will take care of it, and we naturally will kind of recalibrate and move basically where we need to move. At the same time, different people have different karmic threads. Like we all have different paths, righteousness, with which we kind of travel our path. So every eclipse basically carries this karmic threads that are unique to each other's journey, and sometimes we kind of need a guide or a light to kind of see through all these things clearly, and that is what I'm hoping to do with this video. And also in my personal sessions, like try to kind of wait for the eclipse period to settle down and the obscurity to move on to see more clarity, and I think that is where astrologers kind of play a very important role in holding people during the tough times, and kind of helping them see through a period that is filled with obscurity. And if you would like to be an astrologer like that, and I'm currently teaching my Jyotisha 1-year diploma in Indian astrology, and right now the first batch is ongoing, and it's amazing. And as a gratitude, I'm offering the second batch beginning on November 11th at the same price of 680 USD. But from spring, I'm kind of increasing the price of this diploma 1-year diploma program to $1,200. That is $1,200. So if you've been waiting for to learn Indian astrology, or if you've been waiting for the right time to commit to this path, I think you might consider this as your sign, and probably this eclipse as a sign as well, to start something new or meaningful, and so you can build your foundations, and it will help you for many years to come. So what's the best way to approach this eclipse is basically kind of staying grounded and also being patient. As I mentioned, clarity takes time, and refine your daily routines and also your patterns, form new habits and leave old habits that are basically detrimental, and accept endings as new beginnings, because when something goes off, something new always comes in, and if we don't kind of make way for something to go, we won't be able to make way for something to come in. So embrace that intensity that kind of is lying as a signature of this period, and don't resist it, right? So it is an intense period, and it will be good to kind of embrace that intensity and move forward with intention. So it's all about consistency. Like whenever there is a change in foundation, it is a little shaky, but I think consistently doing the groundwork as what you're doing basically builds the future. And the effects of this eclipse can obviously extend from 6 months to 1 year, but what we choose now and what we release and what we begin is going to be very, very crucial, not just for the near future or this eclipse period, but also for the Saturn's upcoming transit in Aries, and after another 18 months or so. So we will be very consciously prepared with newer realities already being built. So we won't start newly when Saturn enters Aries. So, and this eclipse is basically a reminder of the fact that we need to kind of be a little proactive to face Saturn in Aries. So every ending is also a foundation stone for what is yet to be built. Remember this. And if this message resonated with you, I invite you to like this video, share it possibly, and also subscribe and hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss future videos. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you in another video.